feel. Breeze drifting on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. Yeah. Turn on your mind now. Tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody's having a fantastic day and then their evening is off to a great start. We got the audio coming in loud and clear. I got Phoenix Talks backstage. And it's going to be good to chat with Phoenix tonight. As many of you know, if you don't know, Phoenix Talks and I, we started over on TikTok. We came over to YouTube and we've been talking about a lot of shit when it comes to the Idaho 4. Stuff that just backstage, we kind of got a little bit carried away saying, like, when we go back through our working document that we did on TikTok, we haven't heard many people talk about any of that stuff over here on YouTube. And it's not saying that it's more important or it's less important. It's just interesting. Like, these are things that are like, whoa, how does that all line up? How does it not get brought up? And I'm excited to bring some of that stuff back up this evening. And I'm going to say what's up to everybody right away. Let me get the comments here up on screen just so that Phoenix and I can have as much time as possible. What's going on with Discord Dawn, Daily Twin Flame, Philly Special, Lisa Marie, Rocka Lily, Luna, Muck and Fuss, Cats Mojo, Blue Rain 60, Dina Sites is in the house, Crime Spy Sleuther, formerly known as Beck, Elizabeth Spaghetti, True to It, Germilia, Danielle, No Talkie Before Coffee, Lulu Bell, Molly Bledsoe, Sarah, Thumper Rabbit Hole, Growth Renewal, Okie Dokie Lisa, Sarah 79642 says, "Hi Birdie, just started watching you. Love your videos." Well, thank you and welcome to the Hive. Appreciate you all tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, this is a contrarian thinking live stream. We think past the headlines. We think past the narrative. So if you're easily rattled or if you're easily offended on behalf of others, you're not going to like this stream. We like to critically think. However, if you are known as the conspiracy theorist in your friend group, you have found your people. You are amongst friends. I actually was just telling Phoenix, and I was texting my mods earlier. I'm like, maybe I got to stop saying this whole conspiracy thing. Like, does it discredit critical thinking? We know it does. But people that might just be tuning in for the first time, does it like negate some of the real work that we put in? Because, well, if he's calling him and the Hive conspiracy theorists, well, then it's just a bunch of bullshit. They don't know what they're talking about. That's conspiracies. Even though it's most of the time completely like off and odd things that don't make any sense that I'm looking at. I'm sharing my screen the whole time. I'm not just pulling it out of my ass. You guys can see it. I can see it. I'm interpreting it. Who knows what it means? It's at least worth asking the question. And I do wonder that sometime. Maybe we have to give ourselves a little bit more credit. Maybe I have to give myself a little bit more credit. Maybe I'm not as crazy as I think I am. Bite your tongue if you have a comment back to that. It's a joke, everybody. But this evening, we're not only going to just be talking about the Frats, we are going to be talking about the university in general, right? So the Frats, what would their motive be to cover this up? What would their motive be to commit this crime if they are involved? But the bigger picture might be they are under the umbrella of the university. And when 4 students of a university get murdered and they provide zero help, it's a little bit interesting. And when we don't feel like maybe other students have been questioned hard enough, or people in the house that have survived have been questioned hard enough, it leads to speculation at the end of the day. So we are just going off of what we can see, what we can hear, a human instinct, you might call it. But their first and foremost priority is a reputation to protect. That's what they care about. They care about their reputation, and then they care about their research and their federal funding, liability, maybe connections they don't want people to know about. Right? It is what it is. When I say those things, that could very well be a potential motive, especially given their merger. Who knows? Who knows? But before I bring Phoenix up, if you guys have not hit that like button, please go ahead, hit that like button. I will give you guys a couple seconds here to do so. Excuse me. I got a little bit of a sore throat today, so I apologize if my voice sounds raspy. It's probably because I've been yelling into the mic the last 72 hours, what feels like. I talked to Dana on the phone today about the Hive Mind store. I'm going to continue to work on new slides that are going to show off the other merch that we do have on hivemindstore.com. But like I said, we just launched this. Today is day 3. Please go and check out hivemindstore.com if you have not already. Dana, aka Shoe Girl, absolutely knocked it out of the park. All of the merch designs are from our Discord. So it's all from people that are a part of the Hive. They design things based on the stream or this case or just the Hive in general. And it's awesome and it's epic. And Dana was able to take those ideas and put them onto merch. And if you have not, like I said, went and checked out hivemindstore.com, please do. If you buy, or I guess, how should I say this? From now, or from whenever we launched it until Tuesday, the day after Cyber Monday, each item bought enters you into a giveaway. And we are going to be announcing 3 winners for that. And then once that giveaway is over, stay tuned. We have another one starting up right away. But hivemindstore.com is now live. It is the grand opening of it. And thank you to everybody who has purchased an item. That really does help support the channel, and I appreciate you. Now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring up Phoenix. How are you doing? What's Gucci, my Louie? Oh, you're on mute.
Birdie, what's the wordy?
Oh, man. Glad that we didn't have any audio problems like we used to on TikTok. No crash out to start this.
Yes, it is good to be back.
Yes, it is good to have you back. I'm excited for this evening. You know, like I said, we got a little bit carried away backstage talking about just in general things that we went over on TikTok. Yes, it was before the majority of the court documents were released. Right? We were just looking for anything and everything. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
And real quick, just to double check, Hive, type a 1 if the audio is equal for each of us. I can adjust it on my end if I need to, just to do a quick audio check. Check. Prestige.
Audio check.
All right. And it's good. But yeah, so we're looking for anything and everything. We found a bunch of weird stuff, and maybe people say that.
Oh God, did we?
Yeah, like it is what it is. We found it. It's weird. There's no answers to it. We don't know why. And at the same time, you know, we find all of these things before the court documents are out. My question is, like, why is it that before the court documents dropped and after the court documents dropped, like the same theories are still existing? Does that make sense? Like there are a lot of people that have read all the court documents, that have dug into them. There are a lot of people that beforehand, like before they dropped, were looking into this case. the same questions exist around the same main players. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that they do. There's a little delay, so bear with me. But we dug into some crazy stuff. Things popped up that are still well known today that line up to exactly what you've been talking about over the last week. I think in May of 25, I put a video out there about 156 because we kind of plotted when they left the grub truck at 151 to the 5-6 minute travel down the road. Where did they get dropped off at? And lining up Linda Lane back then. And now it makes sense today. I mean, even if you go and you listen to that 911 call today, it makes total sense how chaotic it was there, how many people were around. It's like you learn something new, even though we listened to it a while ago and it didn't make a lot of sense to us. It makes so much more sense today as it fits in with the actual documents, right?
Right.
Because I don't, oh God, I just dropped that. I don't know if you realize this, Bertie, but in the state's exhibit evidence list, Kaylee signed for her last drink at 12:21 a.m. So how long would it take you to finish your last drink?
It depends on how hard, like, am I drinking? Because not long. But if I'm just
I mean,
casually hanging
yeah,
out, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe.
yeah. So, I mean, for a woman, maybe 45 minutes max, and then they leave at that time frame. So that evidence lines up to the theory that they got home at 156, which we've heard others say. And then all this other stuff starts happening at Linda Lane. So, I mean, you have to really go down that road and think who's connected.
Right. Well, I think this case has made many people lose their damn minds in general. And they're forgetting about something that I wanted you to, or that I just heard you say, and I want you to dive into more, is simple timeline aspects. Last drink was at this time.
Hmm.
Now, we don't know an exact time. Like, it takes males this long to finish a drink, it takes females that long to finish a drink. And we could talk about all this stuff that is speculative, but we're trying to piece together not just, okay, Brian Koberger didn't do this and there's reasonable doubt that he didn't do this, but when and how are there four victims that two of them we know the entirety of their night down to their last drink, Phoenix, and the other two we don't know where they
Hmm.
were. Like, does
Correct.
anybody understand how crazy that is? That they all have the same gap of, like, and maybe I don't know if I'm explaining that right. How do they even fit into this timeline?
Well, the odd thing is that the detectives, there's an ISP document that says that somebody, a witness, saw Xana playing a guitar. And there is a picture out there on the internet of her playing a guitar, but it has no timestamp. And so the detectives were still trying to figure out where they were at 145. And
Right.
I don't think they ever really found out where they were exactly.
Okay. The other thing that I want to just pause and I want to say, you guys know, and I'm talking to the Hive here, you guys know that I know the timeline. Okay. It is led to so many questions, even with all of the court documents. And while, yes, the court documents lay out a crystal clear timeline, the court documents do that. But does the story of the court documents make any sense for A, the man that they convicted, B, the surviving roommates, one being an eyewitness, and C, how they cleaned up with no DNA? In my opinion, it's just a bad story. It's a bad story. And that might piss some people off. I think it's a bad story. I think that they have manipulated simple facts over and over and over and over and over again. I'm not saying that I won't dive into court docs. I won't look at them. I won't think that, okay, maybe they are right in the same breath. But I'm saying I don't feel like anything has clicked. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me tell you what clicked for me. I know we were on the right track with the timeline back in May, but what clicked for me when the state's evidence document came out was this one simple little line of Dylan Mortensen's phone record summary for 11/13/2022. It was the grand jury exhibit 18. And guess what time they have for the texting summary? 2:10:29 a.m. to 1:04:01 p.m. Why do you think they chose that 2:10 a.m. time frame? They could have chose any time all day long.
Dude, I don't know if you tuned in the last couple nights or if you just heard about this Delta thing, but let me just show you this. And okay, so I've been talking about like this double Delta, right? You're familiar with Sherlock's 1 hour, 7 minute, 26 second Delta.
Yeah.
Okay. I started talking about like this double Delta, and whether it's a double Delta or whether there's a different anchor time, that's a singular Delta. You guys get my point. This is just math. Like anybody's theory can still happen. I'm just talking about the math on the timestamp because we know Ann Taylor herself and other, officials, whatever you want to say, the people that are tasked with putting these clips and stitching them together, the audio, the video, like that is addressed, right? Like that is a fact. They had to stitch these together. How many clips did they do?
They
Phoenix,
had to
do you remember?
the actual. Oh gosh, there was hundreds, but they had
I
to
don't
fix
know.
the actual drive because it was broken. Ann Taylor made them go fix it.
Well, so it's interesting because the window of the crime, they say 4 a.m. to 4:25, right? You subtract the double Delta, that takes you like to 1:45 to 2:10. So it's very interesting that you just said that with the timestamp. Now, again, people, I already know, dude, there's people that are just like losing their shit over like, it's not what the court documents say. And I'm like, I'm addressing that. I'm acknowledging it. Christ. I know. I'm not discrediting anybody's work that's going off of the court documents.
No, I'm not saying that the PCA is correct. We know the PCA is bullshit. But what I'm saying is the state's exhibit list, you can't fudge. Okay? This is legal paperwork. When you look at the time frame for what they asked for from Dylan and Jack Decor, they start his at 2:15 a.m. in a message summary. So whatever happened started in between 2:10, I would say, when the girls got dropped off, to about 2:10, and that's when the court wanted to look at all their texting and record summaries. Well, that's when I believe all this started.
You know what's interesting though about like in general, I just saw somebody say like the 9/11 Commission report. How long did that take to come out? And now you could like wipe your ass with that. The JFK report, you could wipe your ass with it. So for people to say legal documents that you can't lie in them, there is an argument to be made that they can to protect what, Phoenix? This national security.
National security.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I totally understand why people, it's an official document. It's court documents. Well, how many years did it take to come out? Why are they redacting names 3 years later in these documents?
Why are they blurring out these adults' faces?
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'll go on. And if there's something going on in the background that they can't tell us about, okay, which a lot of us believe that there is, My point is this, though. If there's something going on in the background they can't tell us about, why are we to believe if this is like the front for it or a part of it? And why are we to believe that that wouldn't have been manipulated?
Well, if we know that in the past they've done this to manipulate whatever it is, how do we know they haven't done this? I mean, this is real time manipulation that we're catching on to, right? I think that that's the cat that got out of the bag this last summer when he pleaded guilty and he took a plea deal. I think we were all catching on that this was already, the cat was out of the bag. We were already watching it in real time. If you say that this is some conspiracy psyop, I say no, this is conspiracy reality because we're watching it unfold in real time. This is like one of those reality TV shows.
Well, that's a good point. Like, trying to talk, just normally about this case is so hard to do after you've looked into it as much as everybody in here has, right? It doesn't make sense why they are blurring people's faces out on the 911 body cam. It doesn't at all. Like, have we gotten an answer for that? Why? They're not under 18. They're not minors. There's 4 murders in a college house. That's actually, or technically, it's an off-campus house. So, like, what would the reason be for that? Does anybody
They're
actually
protecting
know?
them. They
Right,
have
but
to
I'm
be
saying,
protecting them.
well, I agree, but my question is, like, does anybody know, like, a legal reason? Like, what would their justification be? Like, that's what I'm asking. Like, is there some legal reason in a court case? Because you go on X, you go on Instagram, you go on. Look at the guy at the Coldplay concert. His face was all over the place when he was cheating on his wife at a concert, and Instagram ran with that. I understand it's not a crime. And maybe that's a terrible analogy. My whole point is this: you can't just blur people's faces for no reason.
Ah,
Do you know what I
yes.
mean?
Yes, there is a reason.
But, like, it can't
There is
just
a reason,
be
and someone
because you
just
don't
said
want to
it.
expose identity. That's my point.
Yes. Ongoing investigation.
Yeah, and I don't understand. And plus, I think M.W. Jones, you can't read the lips of a blurred face. Body language, facial expressions. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, it came across my mind the other day that this might be a social experiment. Maybe they're trying to weed out the people who are really critical thinkers, or you've heard of a mind file before, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's what's happening. They're doing some type of social experiment for AI, and we've been seeing so much controversy. And this has been one of the biggest stories and headlines and like sweeping, people that can't sleep because of this case. They're like so involved in this case and they're trying to figure it out, right? But it's already been figured out. You guys don't need to look down here. You don't need to look here. Look here.
Well, dude. Okay. I hope that this comes out right when I say this. Like, the whole don't look here, look here. And my whole point with the court documents and the timeline is, like, if it's not Brian Koberger, and we have thousands of documents for what they told us was a lone wolf serial killer, that we're now saying, well, it's not that. I get how there could be some confusion in the public eye because, whoa, that's a completely different crime just because there's more than one person. But that still doesn't explain, in general, lack of 911 calls, lack of other eyewitnesses. Nobody sees anything else. Nobody sees cars speeding away, fleeing. We go off of grainy footage that took forever to get released. Do you know what I mean? People are saying that all that footage is manipulated, edited, sound is dubbed in. Like, it's just, there's any excuse or there's any reason to not trust your eyes or your ears.
or your gut instinct, your intuition, right? It's not just all these how do I want to say, not redacted, but edited, dubbed, voiced over, blurry as heck videos. Right? You're
Well, that
telling
is
me
what
that
it
they
is.
can see the space thing, Atlas, I3 Atlas in space, but they can't see a cop walking across the street or a perp coming out of with a flashlight with this blurry images. You got to be kidding me, right? So
Right.
just
Dude, I get it. People get upset when I say this. I understand everybody has a difference of opinion. But again, we have a victim's mother saying 2 a.m. is a dark hour. We have,
it is. I'm
like,
sorry, Bertie.
what?
It's just whenever I hear that 2 a.m. is a dark hour, it's like it's putting that thought in your
Oh, we lost you, Phoenix.
head.
Phoenix. Oh, can you guys hear? Phoenix. Yep. All right. She had to rejoin. She'll be back. Okay. Oh, there she is. All right. You got to unmute yourself. You should be good. Unmute.
Can
There
you
we
hear me
go.
now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So what I was saying is like 2 a.m. is a dark hour, like it's an evil time. And then Steve G with the boogeyman, right? It's like they're putting these thoughts in our head and it's not making sense to what we're seeing on paper.
It's, yeah. And again, I understand people are going to say, well, what are you talking about, Phoenix? On paper, they're saying this happened, between 4 and 4:25. Let me I want people to hear me out. And Phoenix, when I get done with this, just tell me your thoughts on this. Okay. Again, 2 a.m. is a dark hour. What would that mean to most people? That would mean a victim's mother is saying when something terrible happened. I don't think that a victim's mother would just say 2 a.m. is a dark hour. And also, I don't think that Middleman would be coming up to Stacy Chapin within 5 days and saying, we got him right before Thanksgiving. Okay, so at the end of the day, there is hearsay that could have some validity. Then you got on video, I've shown it, the G family sitting down saying the party was shot up. Their niece called them and told them that. Gunderson is canvassing the apartments. Some kid talks about gunshots, not hearing them. Someone texted him if he's all right. There's allegedly on a body cam, people say, look for the shell casings. Even like Lana had addressed that, saying that that's protocol. Here's what's crazier. Okay. Do you think, and let me ask the Hive, type of one, do you guys think the 911 call is manipulated? The 911 call. Do you think the call itself has been manipulated? Type of one if yes. Because Phoenix, where I'm going with this, and you know my saying about coincidences. A coincidence is a mathematical term where two angles cannot perfectly fit together any other way. Coincide. That's what it means. Okay. So The crime happened between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. They then release court documents and camera footage that they say this happens. In my opinion, it looks like you got a car that's being shown going one way and then it's reversing the other way. That's just my opinion. That's beside the fact. 4 a.m. to 4:25 a.m. If you subtract the double delta, so 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds, that will get you to 252. Then, or I'm sorry. Yeah, it'll get you to 252. You subtract it again. You want to know what time that takes you to? 1:45 a.m. So 4 a.m. to 4:25, double delta 1:45. What time does Dylan say on the 911 call that she gets cut off saying, "Can I just tell you what happened around 4 a.m.?" You do the double delta, it's 1:45, guys.
Correct.
Xana's still on TikTok when everybody's home around 2 a.m. when they're all there. Dylan is adding the contact while everybody's home, while the white BMW is seen pulling up the dumpster cam street. All like, it's just, to me, how does that line up with math? With just math? You take just so much of the time frame. It's interesting. How is it that before a certain time, when you add 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds, and then after a time, when you double that delta and subtract it, how it all lines up in the same damn window? Do you know what I mean? All of it. Texts, calls, arrival, they're all home. The rumors, you can say it's a rumor. Stacey Chapin saying 2 a.m. I don't know. It's just, to me, that is like, you can call that whatever you want. You can call it bullshit. You can call it a conspiracy. To me, I'm like, that's not a coincidence. And I'm not trying to piss people off. It's like, then debunk it. Debunk that math, because it's really hard to. And if you're going to say then Linda Lane is manipulated, or if you're going to say that this is manipulated, well, then it's all manipulated.
Correct.
Right?
That's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all manipulated for a reason. But what is that reason?
I don't know.
The only question I have is, somebody asked me about the drywall. Why did they cut out the drywall? Well, if you looked at the evidence, there was texting going back and forth saying that they put some type of chemical on the wall and then they had to cut it out because it was toxic. So they cut Madison's drywall out of the room. And the texter there between the FBI guy and someone else he was texting. So, I mean, that explains the drywall. It's not some, oh, they were shot. It was bullet trajectory and all that stuff. But who went to Floyd's cannabis that early morning at 3:02? Someone went to Floyd's cannabis, and I can't figure out, was that everybody talking about hoodie guy? Or, I mean, if you look at all the evidence they gave us, period, I'm just, it's wild, because here's the crazy thing. The times line up to what you're saying perfectly, Bertie. Perfectly to what these exhibits are saying, and you probably didn't even look at these exhibits. Did you look at the exhibit list?
Well, I have. I'm more so going off of like the main events. So when is Bethany calling Dylan? When is Dylan calling the roommates? That is, I've only just started diving into this theory 2-3 days ago. So I haven't gotten out of the initial like roommate text flurry and calls.
Yeah, if you put the delta together, it would be perfect for a third-party witness that were not friends with Bethany or Dylan, but knew of them. And in the ISP document, it clearly says that they saw Bethany and Dylan with 4 other girls walking away from 1122 King Road at 2 a.m.
It's so weird to me. It's all so weird, and I have this, Phoenix. This is a good question for you. Let me put this comment up on screen. I haven't looked into this yet at all. I was going to look into this yesterday. So this is from Ford One Son 70. And I think this is like pretty interesting for sure. Maybe we can chat GPT it to see what it says, but I never thought about this. So Birdie, in Exhibit A, the rulings claim, right? So this is the text messages, shit like that. The rulings claim it is not hearsay. It says that it is not an assertion and or not offered as truth of the matter asserted. Doesn't that mean the ruling state that the times given are not the truth in the timeline given? If it is not hearsay and is not an assertion of fact or truth of the matter that wasn't asserted, then what exactly is it? That is a cockamamie, or however you say that word, ruling that doesn't make any sense, because how can you claim it's not asserted and not offered as truth of the matter asserted? What was asserted? These rulings of hearsay are baloney from Judge Hippler and need to be explained. It is very possible that your delta timeline of these times is possibly correct. If indeed the deltas are correct, LE, prosecution, and the court, Hippler, are corrupt, the possibility of that timeline was manipulated is the conundrum that we face going forward. As they say, the proof is in the pudding.
Well, basically, Judge Hippler had to rule something, and he put that in his order because then he basically says that once they get up on stand, it'll be their testimony of what times this took place. So he put that in there knowing that they were going to have to get up on the stand under oath and give the right timeline, because he didn't hear any testimony about the timeline.
But can you explain? I guess my question is like, I feel like they're saying both things in this comment.
Yeah, it's double-sided because he can't say that it is the truth and he can't say that it isn't the truth, that he's not the one to decide that. Once they get on the stand, they're the ones that will give the accurate timeline. They're the ones that will give the witness statements.
So,
but on the flip side of that, when I say it's double, they also have the summary of the court records. They have the phone. They have the texting summaries. They have everything. So he knows what the truth is. He knows what the time frame is.
Well, what reason would like court documents like be manipulated by a delta?
Well, it's not that they're manipulated. It's just that they leave it out. It's kludgy. It's useless to write anything in black and white and put it in a legal document. So instead of putting the facts, just like evidence, if it's true evidence and they don't let you put it in as evidence, well, that's corrupt. Because you're trying to say this is evidence, it needs to be in there, it needs to be questioned under oath, and we need answers for this evidence under oath. But if the judge says, no, we're not going to allow that evidence in there, then you're screwed. That could have been evidence to exonerate.
So, like, this is one of the things that I just find so confusing with this national security reference, right? Are you following me? Because
yeah,
that's a black hole legally. There's damn near no rules.
Well, yes and no. You know, I've said this from the beginning, and they've even let this out that, Cole Barenberg was working at SEL, and he also was ex-military, whatever. So if he was an individual that was involved in this, that's why they said national security. You know what SEL does, right? They're a government contractor. They work with the power grids. There's a lot of people in that area that work down there, and it could have been national security. And maybe they use that as a cover. I don't know,
But
but I could see how they would.
all right. So I'm reading this definition right now for like court transparency. And it's pretty much gone. Public access gone. Any disclosure law completely waived. Like, if you want the answers, too bad it's redacted, because legally they can seal entire documents with no explanation. They can redact names, times, and evidence sources. They can delay the release indefinitely, and they can withhold discovery from the defense in certain cases under the Classified Information Procedures Act, the CIPA. Is that not everything that we just watched happen? Like, to a T. Doesn't that sound like it?
Pretty much. I mean, if you think about it, isn't this what happened with JFK?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just wild to think that this is on that level. The other thing, by the way, okay, so now if there's a confidential informant involved, okay, especially one who is either connected to law enforcement, which that's an obvious, but here are the 3 bullet points. It says, if a confidential informant is involved that is connected to law enforcement, was in the vicinity of the crime, or provided information before or after the murder, they can alter timelines to remove the person's proximity, delete or redact their mention in reports, falsify the timing of interactions or tips, and delay court documents until they can scrub every connection clean. And that's procedure. That's not even a theory. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when we are seeing this play out, it's not a conspiracy.
Well, I wonder who that could be. I mean, we don't see Rosendahl reports in here, and he was on scene. He's mentioned, but we don't see any reports other than the dog. It does sound military. It sounds like a military operation.
I just saw that comment. But, like, at what point do we start taking that serious? Because, like, dude, this should not be hard to figure out who did it. At all. At all. I don't think it should be this hard. It's only this hard because legally, like, the system is making it hard to figure out. Do you know what I mean?
It makes you question. It makes you question, is this real? Did this?
And I get it. This is going to piss people off. I don't even care. Whatever. Because to me, it's like, this has got to be so much bigger than we are thinking it is. It's not, in my opinion, this is not just Brian Koberger getting railroaded. It can't be.
Mm-mm.
It can't be.
No, this is like a perfect storm. So what could it be? I mean, other than what I said, media information, there's, AI, they're building databases. It's like, what else? Because there's not many other big stories like this out here. This was huge. The next one is CK. There's a lot around
Yeah.
that.
But
There's a lot around this one on the ship, the girl, the story on the ship. The brother is supposedly the stepbrother. I mean,
yeah,
there's
but
not a
not
lot
like
of
this
big
though.
stories.
Not like
No, but I'm
not like
just
where
saying.
yeah, no, I get your point. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, there's a little delay.
But that's why I said this is a social thing. It's so big that they want people to talk about it socially, gather their intuition, gather their logic, gather their skills, and kind of just see how people, how many people go along with, oh, he was so guilty. And then all these documents come out and they don't have anything on him. And then the police say, well, sorry, we couldn't connect him to anything.
Dude. Oh,
Un-American. That's what I
my,
say this is.
you know, and it's hard. It's hard to put a theory out about a delta, and I do it a little bit differently than most people, where like I work with my chat as I'm doing it, right? I think that the whole power to the collective idea is smart. I think it's more
Mm-hmm.
efficient and effective, right? It's better to have
Absolutely.
thousands of eyes on it than just me at the end of the day. So like I'm still just starting that double delta and delta theory based on an anchor time point. But there's so many directions that my brain can go, and it's hard when people immediately just come up like, fuck, let me see it through, guys. Like, let me see it through. Just calm down. You know? And I get
But
so pissed
you're
because
on the right track. You're on the right track, Bertie. That's the problem. You're getting so much flack because you were on the right track. You were on the right times, you were on the right targets. However, they manipulated. I mean, if they would have manipulated one to go forward, one to go backwards, one to go this many times backwards, this many times forward, you figured it out.
I know. I might have not I know to that. I just saw somebody's comments that they're like, it's bots. Well,
Yeah.
it's not even
Be-
the bots, the comments. It's just like, guys, like instead of trying to think of every single reason, like for example, one of the things that I'm going to challenge people to do in regards to that theory, just because it seems like everybody that's in here is aware of it. Okay. I'm not trying to like insult anybody, but if I'm saying that the entirety of the event has been shifted up 2 hours, or I'm sorry, has been shifted. Yeah, they manipulated it to go forward 2 hours. So when you move it back, it lines up in this time frame. And before a certain time, you have to move it up just an hour, right? Or what I'm calling 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 seconds. And it lands in the same time. Okay. I want people to understand that if I'm saying Kaylee would have done X, Y, and Z in that time frame, that also means that everybody else would have been in that time frame too. Because it's funny where I'm like,
correct.
yeah, like I'm like, Kaylee would have technically called Jack at this time. They're like, well, that can't happen because that person's at 2:56. And I'm like, you move them back too. It's the entirety of the situation.
Correct.
I don't think that's difficult to wrap your head around, but maybe it is. God, I'm getting all flushed, Phoenix.
Well, remember,
Damn window.
you're looking at the text that the documents were put out at 4XX, right? You're looking at that time frame. But if they moved it back, well, if they moved it forward, I should say, instead of back, if they moved it forward, and then in the documents here, they're asking, and I'm talking about just the manipulated stuff. And in the actual exhibits that were given to the court, those are the right times because those are the times that line up with your delta. And you probably didn't even know it was in here.
Well, and it's like one of those things, Phoenix, where I'm like, I'm not even saying anything about who did it. I am saying, don't the court documents and the text messages and everything make sense to be much more like close together?
Absolutely. I mean, in that vicinity, in that walking distance, what's all around you? The frats and the sorority. I mean, even on Officer Schneider's body camera, he goes up and knocks at 1118, which is right, like, the blue house where the security camera is, right to the right of that if you're facing that. Emily and Josie lived at the 1118 right next door. And they go and they knock on the door, and the roommates said someone left between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. What do you mean they left and came back? So there's so much involvement here in that little vicinity, in that little area. So how could you not say that they were not involved? I mean, we can't say for certain 100% they're not involved when the police documents say that they're involved. Whether they use the code victim, witness, mentioned, or involved, that whole area is involved.
I also, yeah. Well, let me get your thoughts. So, just on the Delta, because that's kind of what you're going off of with involvement and whether I know this lines up with it or not. Like I said, my focus has really just been on doing the math right now. But like when you heard that, and Hive, please in the chat type out your thoughts too. Like, what was your original thought on hearing like, whoa, what if those calls really did happen 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 seconds times 2 earlier? Well, then it's like right after the girls get home.
Correct.
Where Bethany's calling Dylan. Dylan's then calling all of the roommates that were, supposedly home, and they just got home. She doesn't have her charger. Like, did she leave? You know what I mean? Like, did Bethany leave shortly after? Is that why there's rumors that these girls were gone the whole time? Because we think that they were there at 4, but really they left at 2:30. And again, it's speculation, of course, but it's like don't those texts seem to hit differently and finally for the first time in like a light that makes somewhat of sense?
Yeah, because if they in fact left and walked away and this happened and they weren't there, or they didn't even, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they didn't know. And then they came back and then they start texting each other at 4, right? Of course that's going to be the time that they put in the court documents, but everything actually happened starting at 2:10 per Dylan's recorded summary from the grand jury.
Right. It's interesting. And let me just address these. Not Lammy Jamie says, just happy to hear Phoenix's voice. Welcome home. And Shell's shocked says, thanks for fighting for the truth, Birdie. We have your back. 100% haters, get the fuck out of here. Well, thank you both for the super chats. I appreciate that. You guys rock. I don't even think that it's haters. Like, I know I might have said that. I just think it's like just this. People care about this a lot. And people are just getting pissed off for the truth at the end of it, right?
Correct.
People are starting to get pissed off that we're banging our heads against a brick wall over and over and over and over again. And I think we need to start to research, like, we use the word delta, which is really just a difference between two fixed points in time. But like, my question is, are there examples operationally where a delta would be used? Like, can we find some sort of proof with one of the agencies involved that they have a practice of using deltas? Like, would that give more validity to this theory? Because I would find it hard to believe.
Deltas could be used all the time. Deltas could be used all the time to manipulate the data to protect individuals or entities or, corporations. It's not just used in military time or operations. There could be a time delta for airlines, right? There could be all kinds of time deltas.
And so
There's
my
a
question,
delta.
go ahead.
Sorry, there's a delta for Dylan because she says, well, it might have been 3 a.m. there when it was actually this time in Boise. So, I mean, a delta could be almost any time difference.
My whole point, yes, right. I agree with that. And would you agree that maybe an answer as to why they did this is because they are wanting to center this crime around essentially like a false anchor point? Like, that's what I'm trying to say is like,
Yeah.
the anchor point is the time where they go backwards X amount or they go forward X amount, because if something important happened at that anchor time, like a witness potentially, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
anchor that narrative, if you anchor that timestamp at 4 a.m., what does the delta actually do? It places bookends around it. It's
Correct.
neat. There's a start and there's a finish that gives you a window to create a narrative. It's a manufactured window so that you can make a story fit that manufactured window of a crime, in my opinion.
Absolutely. In my opinion, that delta started at 4 o'clock because do you remember what time Tesdall and Rosendahl said they logged out after being off duty, after being undercover? 3:52. They could not have that happen on their watch.
Yeah. Right.
So at 4
you're
a.m.,
sorry.
no, so at 4 a.m., that's when all this has to start.
Well, and my anchor point being the 301, alcohol related offense for the 911 call. I could be wrong. Like, that's the other thing too. I just want to figure this out with everybody. So, like, if somebody has a 4 a.m., whatever it may be, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if I'm wrong. I want at least one of us in here to be right. And in addition to having the bookends, Phoenix, do you want to know what else? Sorry, excuse me. You want to know what else it could do besides give you this manufactured window? And not only does it allow you to create a narrative, it also allows you to eliminate any like evidence that doesn't fit as far as timeline. You can hide law enforcement missteps or delays or misconduct. That delta gives you the freedom to do the cover up. That's not crazy, in my opinion. That's actually genius on whoever would have thought to do that to cover up a crime. We're going to pick a fixed point in our timeline, whether it be right in the middle or the biggest event. And we are going to, before this time in our timeline, subtract X amount. And after that fixed point of the anchor, double the time. That's going to give us this window to say whatever we want happened. We can cover up bad conduct by police. We can say that this didn't happen then. It actually happened here, so it's not relevant.
Correct.
It creates the puzzle.
Yeah. I just saw somebody in the chat. It creates that 4 a.m. time frame that everything happened after 4 a.m. But, I was thinking what else happened at 4 a.m., right? I was thinking, Molly comes in. Maybe Molly found the dog. Maybe the cops found the dog. Maybe all this had already happened and the dog was out running around and somebody had to have, get him, bring him back. It covers all that other behavior when they say they logged at 3:52. They logged off their shift and then it covers the police department, because had this happened on their undercover shift, they would have had so much flack. They would have caught lawsuits. They would have, because what was their primary job being undercover out there? Scanning for people that were drunk and underage drinking and illicit drugs.
But tell me that it wouldn't make sense if there was some sort of a perimeter set up for plainclothes police officers to make sure nobody's going towards the house.
Yeah. I mean, but
right?
the Delta is the right time, but they had to create the 4 a.m. illusion.
Correct.
And remember, on the body cam, she says, well, Dylan told the officer, well, they kept pushing at 4 a.m. even on the 911 call. And she goes over there and tells JD at 4 a.m. and starts everything off at 4 a.m. At 4 a.m. She's the one pushing the 4 a.m. narrative.
And in Dylan's interview, she goes, oh, I don't know. All right, am I back?
You're back.
I'm back?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at my phone. It was a little bit delayed. Like I said, Phoenix, whenever I freeze, I got to lean away from this mic. My mouth always gets stuck open right by this thing. It's not a good look when it freezes with your mouth. I was worried. All right. But so Dylan, Bethany, and Jenna McClure all look at their phone for time references. Isn't that a little bit weird to anybody? Especially Dylan saying she doesn't know if it's Boise time or it's this time or whatever it is, right? Like, I don't know. Again, it could be nothing, but the other reason for a Delta is they could just be covering up for somebody in the area at a time that was supposed to have an alibi that been there.
Yeah, so I was thinking when I saw the witness statement that she wasn't there, that perhaps she wasn't there.
I don't get why that's so hard to believe. That it's so neat too. Like if we find the anchor point, that has got to be the neatest. Like when I say neat, like it's down to the second, right? Like it's just math. It's really not changing what people's theories are that happened. It's just the math that has to be done on court docs or timestamps. That's it. It's the same event happening. It's just do the math on the time. And I guess I'm confused why there's so much flack on that.
I think you're spot on the Delta.
Because, like, okay, what time, and I'm going to ask the Hive, let's talk about the girls got home at 1:56. Do we type a 1 if you guys think that that's real? Take the Linda Lane audio out of it. What time did the girls get home? 1:56?
Correct.
Okay. What time did Molly show up on 1112 with the DoorDash? Like, maybe not down to the second, just the general.
Wasn't it 3:50? I think somewhere around 3:50.
All right. So 3:45, maybe?
Yeah, I would say
3:46. All right. So 3:46, when you subtract. All right, my computer froze. Okay. So again, 346. Hang on, I'm doing this math right here on my computer with the. So if it was 346 when she arrived or when she showed up and you do the double delta, that would really put her there at 131, technically before the girls got home. But that goes back to my theory where you have to be able to critically think and move the rest of the timeline back too. And so if you did that with, and this is speculation. This is speculation 100%. I'm not claiming this is a fact, but I'm saying if they were covering something up, it's not hard to flip two names for the two other names. We have no idea where they were. So what if Dylan and Bethany were not talking to Kaylee and Maddie about food because they just got back from getting food? And what if that delta is applied to really being about 1243 to like 1245, where it's Dylan, Bethany, and Ethan and Xana debating if they want to get food? Because if you apply the delta to 145 when Ethan and Xana got home, that would put them getting home about 10 minutes before that conversation. Then Dylan is texting the Uber driver to see if he's
Correct.
still driving. So that would be like logical in my head. Ethan and Xana just got home. Maybe they're talking about getting food. Do they want to go out to the grub truck? Do they not? Ethan and Xana decide, nope, I'm going to order DoorDash. If they place that order around 103 when Dylan was texting Eric, if he's driving, is it unrealistic to think that the DoorDash gets there 30 minutes earlier or 30 minutes later?
No, it's not unrealistic, because if Bethany and Dylan were leaving at 2 a.m. away from the house and they knew they were coming back and they were hungry, then they would have a DoorDash there for them when they got back at 4 a.m.
Right.
But if you
I'm
apply
saying
the
if you move
delta, it would actually be around 2.
Yes, exactly. That's the other point that I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yes. It's
And
actually.
And what they did, Phoenix, goes actually to my point about the bookends. And I've always said they've used the DoorDash as the timeline bookend, that everyone's home, potentially a witness to see when this is all going down. Like, I don't know. To me, it's speculative. But it seems like everything is speculative. And if you don't think that they can manipulate court documents for national security, just do a quick Google search. They could do that. They could do it for an informant.
Yeah, the FBI does it. The CIA does it. Any three-letter
I'm not
agency,
fighting anybody saying that
military
either.
does
I'm
it.
just saying. It's just like it's like, dude, I'm not just saying this shit. Like the maths perfectly. You know? I and whatever. It's like there seems to be there are phases of this case where it gets like this, right? Where it's like, okay. But I will always I'll go back to this one question. Does anybody know what happened that night? For sure. Like, okay, even if you think that Brian didn't do it, does anybody know for sure when Ethan and Xana got home? Does anybody really know how one person, 4 people, 3 people, 5 people, an octopus killed these people in the matter of time they did, leaving the house cleaned up with no DNA, and then the no crime scene photos? There's no other eyewitnesses but Dylan or Bethany, and they're talking. It's just, I can't wrap my head around the fact that this is even close to the truth. And it is not saying that it's not in the court documents. I know what's in the court documents. But I'm saying it doesn't feel like it's the truth. I'm not trying to cause any division here. I'm just like, this doesn't feel anything close to what we're being told. Like, that quick of a hit would be so messy. Those many stab wounds in that short of a time. That's what I'm saying too, is like the physical capabilities of people to stab somebody. If even 50 stab wounds in 2 minutes. To me, while they're fighting back and nobody hears anything, nobody else wakes up in the middle of it. So it's like simultaneous, yet it's not simultaneous. Where's like the actual, like, Phoenix, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a bar when there's a fight that breaks out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Overseas in Japan.
Okay. Not only is it violent and it's fast, but, and there's a ruckus. Anytime that I've been around a fight, you want to know what else I hear? A bunch of people screaming, stop.
Yeah.
A bunch of people that aren't involved in it, or maybe they're even like, and I get it, it's a bar, they're not sleeping. My point is like, it's just like to have that many people go into a house undetected and be stealthy and quiet and to have it be so quick. And I would even argue the amount of DNA there, we've kind of turned like molehills into mountains just because we've compared it to Brian's. Like, is there even that much DNA for perps at the scene if we weren't just comparing it to this little speck of Brian's touch DNA? Or am I way off on that? If I'm off on that, I could be wrong. I'm just saying, like,
I don't know. I don't even think they know what truly happened. I really don't. Looking at the evidence, they were looking for people all the way up to June 2024, 25. I mean, they were testing other people's fingerprints. I mean, I honestly don't think they knew what happened. Somebody knows.
We need a whistleblower.
Yeah, I know. One person, that's all it's going to take.
Like a real whistleblower.
Somebody who gets the deal first.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth eventually will come out.
Again, that's the other thing too.
And I'm sure if Brian knew who it was, he would have already shared that.
Right. You would think. And the thing about this case is like, it's getting harder and harder to keep, and don't get me wrong, I'm never going to change this. I'm just saying in general, like as the hive grows, it's like harder and harder to keep the hive what the hive is. It's thinking out loud. It's a group thought. That's why it's live. Do you know what I mean? It's talking out loud. It's trying to get other people to get ideas from it and run with it. And it just feels like everyone attacks this. Like, it's annoying. Because nobody's got it figured out. And if you think you got it figured out, I think that you've got figured out what they've let you get figured out. I hope I just kind of stumbled on my words, but it's like, it's the truth they want you to know. Right? That's how I view it. It's the truth they want you to know. They've tried too hard to redact everything, to just like right away when it's like slowly dripping it out, to be like that easy to poke holes in it to show this much reasonable doubt for Brian Koberger, yet have no idea what happened. So I don't know. Anyways, Phoenix, I want to hear your thoughts in general about, like, what do you, if you want to speculate, what do you think happened? Who, what, where, when, and why? If you want to go there.
Oh gosh, that's an open can of worms. Speculate? Gosh, that's hard.
Wait, can I, before
there's
you
so
answer
many
that,
scenarios. There's so much speculation.
Can I say one thing? I just saw a comment fly by. I'm not gonna be able to click it because it's gone. Yeah, that is a loaded ass question. But you know how people said, like, think of, like, could that many people keep a secret? I've bit my tongue on this because I believe that if you are high up in law enforcement, or if you are high up in the military, or high up in an agency, you have proven that you can keep a secret. And the only people that would have to keep the secrets are the people that have already proven they can, and everybody else is on a need to know basis. If you don't think that people can keep secrets, think of, like, it just seems dumb. There's so much we don't know about how many conspiracies that last decades because people keep secrets that are normal people that have clearance, or that they have jobs where they need to keep it, or they've proven that they've been able to keep secrets. Like, you've had clearance. DA's had clearance. I'm sure there's secrets you both have. There's probably secrets that everybody has. And you can, yes. And Verity just said, you can keep a secret when no one knows the full story completely. It's all compartmentalized. Hence why they do all of the need to know compartmentalization.
I mean, I can speculate on Kaylee and Maddie. I don't know what happened to Ethan and Xana, but I do know, according to, and I look at all things. I'm looking at the evidence, I'm looking at the documents, I'm looking at the forensic testing, and I can only imagine that when Maddie and Kaylee got home, I'm sure that Kaylee saw what happened to Ethan and she went ballistic. And they must have walked into something, because according to the evidence the state has that was in the exhibit list, I mean, even Kaylee's her wrist were injured. So if I'm looking, if this is true, the autopsy that the exhibit list state, and all the wounds that Maddie and Kaylee had, Maddie wasn't asleep, obviously. I was hoping that at least one of them was. But they both fought. They fought hard. And I believe someone chased them upstairs and they were hiding, and they just took both of them out. But we can see that by the forensics, because they were both, it was done by one person. I don't know what happened to Ethan or Xana.
Yeah. I mean, and I was just curious because to say who, with what, where, when, why, like, yes, everybody can guess, but it's also like, why has this not been talked about? The only, quote, official statement about who, what, where, when, why has been the Brian Koberger statement. Isn't that interesting? Like, that narrative is the only narrative that lays out Brian Koberger, who had no connection to the victims and never stalked them, that chose to enter this residence with 5 cars in their driveway, never being in the house, walked in with a single fixed blade knife, and then committed all these murders and got out. Like, that is the only who, what, where, when, why that we've been told.
Yeah, there's no evidence of him even being in that house.
And that's my point. Mm-hmm. Yet, like, that's my point. Is those are all statements made by the prosecutor. by the investigators. And so, like, my question that I want to try to figure out is, like, why? Actually, not even why. Like, what the hell happened that forced them to manufacture a timeline that has a potentially perfectly measured delta from X time, whatever anchor time forward, and that anchor time backwards? Like what happened during the real crime window that could not be allowed to be public? That's what I want to know. That's been my focus. And that's why I've been starting to go through and try to do these deltas. Like, what could have happened in the window, the real crime window, that could not be public? And it could be a bunch of stuff. I'm looking at the comments right now. People are saying it, Ann Taylor referenced the 7 minutes, and then Sherlock's bringing, the 7 minutes, 26 seconds up. Like, Germalia says, literally, what the fuck happened?
It had to been. It all could have happened at the same time. If Xana, if Maddie and Kaylee were told to come home, they came home, they saw what was happening, and then ran upstairs and hid, and they just went upstairs and did what they had to do. Well, it was on the third floor landing because Maddie's blood was found on the upper door frame on the landing by her bed, so it had to happen on that third floor. But if you look at the history, there were noise complaints, disturbance complaints, and Maddie and Kaylee were always gone when they were trying to have a party there, and it looks like a party was happening on the night this happened without Maddie and Kaylee there. And if they came home and there was some disturbance that happened, it happened probably in 7 minutes and 26 seconds.
So again, okay. I just said what could have happened during the real crime window that they didn't want to go public that would force them to create this delta. What if instead of what happened, who was present during the real crime window they don't want to be known? Maybe that's it. Instead of what actually happened during the real crime window, what if it was who was present? What if it was a police officer? What if there was an ongoing nearby call that maybe the police didn't act? Maybe it was a protected individual. Maybe it was an off-duty police officer. Like, that's got to be one of the most damning possibilities. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely. Just speculation.
Yeah. Just speculation, of course. It's all speculation. It's all like
somebody was there that wasn't supposed to be there.
That's my opinion. Somebody was there that wasn't supposed to be there. And that, at least for me, is the running favorite of why, if the delta is real, they would have created that.
So let me ask you, Bertie, 428, I swear that's a black truck that rolls in. With your delta, that would be a 228, correct?
You said 450. What time did you say it was? I got to look at my chart. Well, 428. So if you take 1 hour, 7 min, 26. So I'll say this: 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 seconds times 2 is 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 52 seconds. So you said at 458?
428.
428 a.m. minus 2 hours, 14 min, 52 seconds. That would put you at 213. Dude, I mean,
wonder
come
if
on.
that's when
That's like,
Dylan really saw that black truck.
oh my God, dude.
Yes. 213. Oh my God.
That's crazy. You know, I did start thinking about like if the delta is off, I don't know if people are going to think this is stupid, but you know, they made it very clear it was 1:56 that the girls got home. And Stacy Chapin said 2 a.m. is a dark hour. Like part of me started thinking like, is that the anchor point for the delta? And that's why they're pissed off about it. I don't know.
Could be. I mean, apply the delta to other things that we've heard on time.
But the delta that we currently have being 3 a.m. is crazy. And again, this is very early and it's a
22
working
is
theory. Go ahead. Did we lose you? Oh, I don't hear Phoenix. Thank you. Love and Other Habits. Appreciate you. You there?
I don't know
Hello?
what happened.
Oh. What were you saying?
I was just saying apply the delta to other times that people are commenting and see what you get.
Well, I have this right here.
You got a chart?
Yeah. It's loading.
And it looks like Jazzy is trying to talk to you.
What does that mean? What does Jazzy trying to talk to me mean?
Jazzy said that she saw Bethany with her sister at 12:30 on the other side of campus. I don't know who that is. They're just trying to. So if Gun Rat Guy was at 344, how does that work out?
You got a minus. Well, here. I got the here's the chart that lines up with the texts and calls.
Let me take a screenshot.
Here's the I was gonna say this is the real time. This is the single delta. This is the double delta. So 419 is what this column says, or whatever the furthest left column is what this column says. This is what the real time would be.
That makes sense. Yep.
The thing that was really telling for me, Phoenix, was at 4:24, it never made sense that Dylan texted Bethany saying, "My phone's going to die, fuck." But at 2:09, if she would have gotten into a truck or if she would have left the house right when the girls got home and was not home and didn't bring her charger, that would make sense.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to dig into this a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody wants to screenshot it. Obviously, not all of these times. You got to go to the second page. I couldn't fit all those, but these are all the deltas. Mm-hmm. Actually, it does. Actually, I think I did get them. 4:25:16. Yeah, I do, actually. Nice.
Good job, Bertie.
Yeah. But no, like play around with it. You know what I mean? Like see what happens. And Phoenix, if you're gonna run and you want to look into it, let me put you back up here. It was good having you back up on the stream. And I don't know. I think that it's just everybody else can keep going on the court documents. Everybody else can. I'll look into this and I'll figure it out if it's bullshit or if it's not. And if people already think it's bullshit, then whatever. Like, at least let me come to that realization. You know? Like,
No,
I'll
it
go
lines
down
up really
a little
well,
bit.
Bertie.
Yeah.
Keep doing you.
And that's what I was just gonna say. I'll go down a little bit different of a path. Just let me go down this path. Let me look at it. It's not taking away from anybody. It's just a theory. And I see a lot of things about this Jazzy thing. So let me look at my email. But
Yeah.
Phoenix, are you gonna bounce or are you gonna stay up?
I
Or what?
am. I gotta go. I promised. Yeah, I would be somewhere. I've got to go run. But I appreciate. It's like old days, right? I mean, look at some of the stuff
Yes.
we just uncovered. It's absolutely wild.
It is wild. And I appreciate you
I'm
coming
nursing
back
a
up.
cold.
Yeah, that's all right. And yeah, let me know what you find. You got my email. We'll do this again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bertie.
All right. Yep.
Bye,
See you.
Hive.
Peace. See you. All right. I don't see any email from Jazzy unless it was the Birdie's Hive Mind email. What time did David B say he was walking past the house? It was the Birdie's Hive Mind. Okay. No, I'm not, guys. I'll do the call-ins. I'll look at the email. Right. I will absolutely look into it, and I do the call-ins for exactly this reason. You know. But guys, I'm not gonna lie. I was up at 3:40 this morning, so I am exhausted. I'm gonna bounce. Tomorrow, the custody queens and Ron, an appellate attorney, are going to be in the hive. So all of this crazy conspiracy Delta thing is not going to be talked about. We'll talk about what Brian Koberger could be doing down the road here, and also about the WSU lawsuit that the families are trying to hold them accountable for $100 million for each victim. We're going to be diving into that Thursday, which I got to talk to Sherlock. Sherlock, if you're still in here, I know that's Thanksgiving. If you're down, I'm down. But if you want to bump it back a day, that's cool too. Hopefully he's still in here. I mean, guys, Hive. Like, I know you guys are going to be honest with me. I've barely scratched the surface of this Delta, and I understand why it's confusing, but I'm also like, this is the way that I've always worked with doing these theories live. And this one feels different than any other one that I've done. And it seems to be getting everybody riled up. It's not shying me away from it. I guess it's just like let us work on, or like, let's just work on it. Let's see. Like, what if it's right? What if it's right? It's just math. It's not even a conspiracy. It's just math. It's literally the most tame, reasonable, logical theory. And I'm going to do research on, like, operationally, why would a Delta be put into place? So I don't know. I'm going to keep working on it. And with that, Hive, I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central with the custody queens. And Ron, the appellate attorney, I did not see a response from Sherlock, but Sherlock, let me know about Thursday. Send me an email, bro. Cheers, everybody. Sleep good.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.